Dew Tour MC, Kip Williamson, for the introductions.
Let's meet the riders in reverse order to how they qualified. Your first competitor, the number 12 qualifier, currently ranked number 4 in the overall tour rankings, from Chester, Great Britain, 25 years of age, Alistair Witten. Making his second appearance in the BMX Park Finals on the Dew Tour this year, from Los Angeles, California, 22 years of age, Austin Coleman. Known for his solid tricks and amazing line on the course year after year, from Greenville, North Carolina, 25 years of age, your number 10 qualifier, Mr. Rob Darden. This little guy is known for his technical skills, and he's also our youngest competitor here in the BMX Park Finals out of Toms River, New Jersey, 16 years of age, Mr. Garrett Reynolds. Our next competitor up is a top competitor in dirt as well as park, and the first rider ever to do a no-handed front flip from Amparo, Brazil, 23 years of age, Mr. Diogo Canina. Our number 7 qualifier has won many best trick comps in his career and also won the most unbelievable comp, the Metro Jam, out of Greenville, North Carolina, 22 years of age, Josh Harrington. Known for high-speed lines and big transfers, from San Diego, California, 23 years of age, your number 6 qualifier, Gary Young. This next guy blasts huge transfers and loves to put on a show for the crowd. Out of Tyler, Texas, 23 years of age, Morgan Wade. Competing in the dirt final and now back in the finals for park, out of Melbourne, Australia, 23 years of age, your number 4 qualifier, Stephen McCann. The right guard open BMX Park champion. He's our current overall leader here in the 2006 BMX Park overall standings, from Caracas, Venezuela, 21 years of age, Daniel Dares. The right guard open champ in BMX dirt and one of the biggest names in action sports history, from Los Gatos, California, 27 years of age, Ryan Nyquist. Currently ranked number 2 in the overall tour standings in the BMX Park. Also X Games 12 gold medalist, and your number 1 qualifier, from Jackson, New Jersey, 19 years of age, Scotty Cranmer. Once again, Portland, give these guys a big round of applause for all 12 finalists. These guys really threw it down just to make it here.
So there we go, the first of 2 runs, top scoring run. Decides who takes top honors.
Alistair getting into the flow here. The judges want to see you hit as many tricks as possible, have a creative line, and also use all the obstacles.
All the obstacles, and they want to see flow. If it looks like you're out there and you know where you're going and you know what's going on, and Alistair always brings that to the contest, is flow and direction, and they want to see that. If they don't see it, then you look lost here. It definitely costs you.
And when you get lost on the course, folks, it's as though you're riding around not knowing what obstacle to hit next. What we're talking about is rapid tricks in a row. That's your line, or the way you're going to go through the course. And each rider has an original way of going through the course as well. So Alistair Witten actually looking like he's losing a little bit of steam here, Dave.
Well, you know what? He's keeping it solid, which is great. It may look like he's a little out of steam, but he's not getting lost. And I think at the end of the day,
adding his name to the list of just new talent we're starting to see on the Dew Tour.
Right, this is his second Dew Tour final this year. Out of Los Angeles, California, lives downtown there, riding street.
This right here, downside whip on her quarter pipe, not many people do that at all. In fact, there's very, very few, not even a handful. So him bringing that to the contest, he's kind of a sleeper. People wouldn't expect it or think about it, and he's coming out here, you know, wowing people for sure.
Well, one-handed tail whip, landed low, but that's another big trick. We don't see many of those as well. And the great thing also, folks, about Park is that it blends all elements
tail whip over the step down. That's just a blinded landing. It's a blind landing, I should say, and he could do it over the box, but I think the step down.
The youngest competitor in today's competition.
Well, sorry, Dave, I was just going to say that I remember, you know, when I was coming up, looking at the magazine, seeing you, we're roughly the same age, and you were kind of like Garrett. You were that young rider that was putting the pressure on all of the established professionals. So tell me a little bit about what is that like to just disrupt the flow of all these seasoned hardcore veterans?
Well, what I love about Garrett Reynolds, and when you watch him ride, he's a machine, dude. He catches him before you land. You watch, he's a machine back to back. If he steps up the box jump a little bit, dude, that's the difference between first place for him, really. And it's crazy, he's half my age.
That's what they were all saying about you in 1991.
Yeah.
So Garrett Reynolds you're starting to get into the flow here. Oh, a little bit of a hang up, but he recovers nicely.
Nosedive 3 right there. That's a cool trick for sure.
And it's the little subtleties, much like another rider, Mike Aiken. A lot of the street influence, a lot of bunny hop variations as well.
Well, I think it's just a testament, too, just how much talent just is coming out of BMX Park right now. To have guys that young, competing on this level.
Just per run, I'm sure. Okay, here's a really cool one. He's gonna start getting into the 6-foot stuff, and you'll see a tail whip pocket there, which is extremely difficult. I think he's the only one out there today doing it.
But he's gonna wave it off, you know, perhaps getting a little tired. Now these runs are tough, Dave. I mean, what do you feel like after one of these runs?
You know, really what it comes down to, you have a minute to be out there, anything off, and you're just nervous. You're trying to make up lost time, and you're missing your beats. So it's huge. You really got to have a solid run all the way through, from top to bottom, to make it look great for the judges. Barshman Ice Pick.
Yeah, goes by the name Joe. This guy spent a lot of time with Ryan Gutler as well.
Yeah, what were you telling me about him earlier? He's got the keys to the compound down there, Ryan's compound.
You know what? Joe's living the best life right now, man. He's an amazing rider.
Yes.
Style. But he's got the keys to Ryan's out of town. I saw him driving on the road the other day. He's got it. It's awesome. It's cool. But you know, Joe's a great guy. And if you see him ride, I mean, obviously right now, downside whip, everything's dead smooth. On a daily basis, the guy just does everything.
Right, look for a big trick here. And you're going to get it. 720 pulls it off. Diego living in Greenville, North Carolina, along with Dave Mira and many of the other professionals here in the finals. They call it Pro Town. If you really want to ride, move to Greenville. A lot of
we
talent.
actually are not accepting applications anymore.
You're at capacity.
We're starting the deport process here real soon.
Well, Diego kind of having a little trouble at the end of his run. However, there were definitely...
So I keep an eye on him. It's amazing. Those guys always have something going on. It's the Harrington Hotel, we call it.
Kind of a hostel of sorts.
And Josh is an overall. He can ride vert, dirt, street, and he's great at every one of them. He's definitely one of the best all-around riders in the sport right now.
I think a challenge too, to be tall and to be able to look smooth on a bike is no easy task.
Yeah, but that's something about being tall on a bike. It gives it a little extra because you know everything he does looks pretty amazing.
Kind of fluid.
It really does.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a
Similar to Jamie Beswick, he's another tall guy, and he's also been just revered for his style.
And actually, Jamie says that you know Josh is one of the most underrated vert riders. If you put a little bit more time into it, Josh could easily be a vert contender. But you know the ramps are.
You know, you talk about vert, Dave. Tell me, you know, vert would definitely help you in some ways with park because we're seeing a lot of transitions out here. Does it make everything look smaller so you get a little bit mentally, you're a little bit more prepared for these tricks?
You know, maybe a little bit. I don't know about that so much, but you know what's great about overall riders is you can take something from vert, bring it to street that just a street rider wouldn't normally do. If you want to go ride vert, you can bring something from street to the vert ramp that just a vert rider wouldn't do. So anytime you combine disciplines together, it just gives you a better overall product at the end.
And we will have Josh Harrington's score when we return. Still to ride, Morgan Wade will be dropping in.
You know, I wouldn't doubt it. And I know I left, you know, not to mean to leave Morgan out of the running for a win here. Morgan has a little bit of everything. That guy's powerful. He looks at a course, and he doesn't put any limits on it. And you, like you said, transfers everything. And watch the step down, because you said he
I don't know if he's going to do it now, but this would be the area. And there it is. 360 comes up way short.
Wow. That was definitely, wow, risky. Big stuff there. That's
A good slide out. Good way to come out of that if you have.
You know what? We'll have to see that again, but this run is obviously going to be affected by that crash. No chance to take over the lead.
No, but you know what's crazy?
Oh, huge back to handrail.
Morgan at the Metro Jam this year with 360 flips, he was doing them over a hip, which was slightly over-rotating and coming in, you know, a perpendicular transition, which that was pretty surprising that Morgan didn't stick that perfect the way he was doing them earlier this year.
Even with the fall, Wade does not seem to be slowing down. And it's really his reluctance to put together safe runs. That's really what's kept him out of top-replacing spots. He's just unwilling.
Yeah, he's a dice roller. I mean, the tricks that he's throwing down in these runs are ones that could get him up to the top of the podium, but the problem is they're so risky that they often don't connect. Dave.
Yeah, and that wasn't really a true, you know, it looked like a little bit more, you know, that wasn't a normal Morgan Wade 360 flip at all. You know, coming back next run. If
he didn't get quite upside down.
Yeah, that was more of a 720 spin. And I think it just kind of, he pulled back, yanked, and it kind of blew his chance to come, you know, over the step down and make it into the landing.
And again, keep your eyes on the landing. You see his front and back wheels hang up on the platform. What he is intending to do is land in that smaller ramp. But later in the run, Dave, gap to handrail. I mean, there's not a lot of real estate on those pegs. Big tricks. What do you say, Dave?
Oh, Stevie did some of the biggest stuff. No hand at 720. There's you know, nobody else doing that competitively right now. And Steven can link it together. He can ride a vert ramp. He can ride dirt. He can ride street. He can put it all together. But sometimes they put a little. The judges, they don't give him as much credit. Sometimes I think he's a little underrated, but he'll put something together.
Very creative transfer there. There it is. Gets the hands off.
Now he has a line that he's looking to do. He was talking about 720 to 720, but no, not this run. Truck driver to X up on that step down.
Exactly. You know, maybe he's just staying on to get a good score, a good solid score, come on second run, see what he's got to do, and then just step it up. I mean, that usually happens in a lot of riders' strategies.
That's exactly what he told me earlier. You know, he was saying that he wants to put together a solid run, see where he sits, because he's concerned about the standings. This being a 5-city tour, 5-stop tour, a lot of riders are playing things a little bit different than we've seen in the past. It's not a one-off best trick competition. It's about keeping consistent, doing your best stuff, but getting to that next contest. And Dave, you know firsthand, you've done no-handed 720s, but what about Stevie's? They look great.
They're great. I mean, he's always had a really, really good 720 spin. That is, I mean, there's very few guys that do tricks during a 720 anyway, so that's huge.
And you feel sometimes maybe the judges don't recognize or kind of reward him for some of these tricks?
You know, our sport's tough. I mean, judging is a very, very tough thing anyway, seeing all these different riders and styles. So sometimes maybe it does get mixed up in the end result. You know, that's something pretty hard to forget about, but that's one of the biggest things we've seen today yet. So,
And you've been no stranger to that. I mean, 2 runs on top of the leaderboard right now. Stephen McCann, a score of 88. Daniel Diers, coming into this event, was the current overall points leader.
You know, Danny, I was talking to him earlier. I was like, what do you do when you're back home in Venezuela? He's like, most of the time I'm on the internet seeing what's going on in the United States. He's obsessed with BMX, and he wants to make sure that he's always up to date on what everyone's doing. So he says he spends about 6 hours on the internet. Wow. Wakes up, eats, little internet, then he might ride a little bit.
He spends about 6 hours on his bike. That guy rides all day, and he just doesn't stop. So that's why you're going to see him go back to back. He's a machine.
Certainly making the most of his 6 months in the United States.
Truck to whip.
Just getting it around.
And that's a bar spin. 360 with a bar spin, late tail whip. Very difficult.
That is something completely new.
That was
from Daniel.
Yeah, he hid that in his sleeve till just there. Wow.
And again on the spine landing, so smooth and no for the can-can 360 tail whip.
No shortage of big tricks in this run so far.
No, that's what's been helping Daniel out, is that he just keeps going. He does not stop, and he's got some seriously big tricks we aren't seeing a lot of guys do, especially this contest.
I'll tell you what, he's capable of linking it all together, and that's one thing he does. It's
right there.
Oh, no.
rare, very rare for Daniel right there, very rare.
But it was very close to time. Do you think the judges will reward that run? It was definitely one of the most impressive of the day, if not the. Double.
Yeah.
Truck driver down that step up now. That's a trick that Ryan has on lockdown so many years, but again, doing it on different obstacles helps you out a bit.
Yeah, definitely. Ryan's definitely off to a good start right now to putting a solid run together.
Ryan is somebody early on in his career who figured out how to do winning competition runs. His first year as pro was in 1996. He's 10 years deep into his professional career. But I'd say the last few years he's been suffering a little bit with injury, so that definitely comes into play as a professional athlete. Oh, backflip!
And throughout Ryan's career, some of the best battles have been between you and Ryan, Dave.
That's right.
Sure. He's going to do something we've never seen, I'm sure.
Last year, one of the few riders to be doing front flips. This year, it's commonplace. Will we see a front flip drop in? Double tail shot.
And like I said, Shannon, you know what? Scotty could do that all day long, double with threes. He's been doing it every stop this year. But Ryan just put together something big enough to maybe get in Scotty's, head mentally to maybe throw him off just a little bit. And a little bit's a lot these days.
Scotty.
Look at that. Wow. That's tell about is, I think he's the only guy I've ever seen do that.
And he has one up on a lot of guys. He has his own skate park that he rides at down in Toms River, New Jersey. But he's giving you the thumbs down. He knows that's not going to be enough.
Got it down a throwaway for Kramer, the top qualifier. Our last rider take his first of two.
And Dave, the double tail whip, where did things go wrong?
You know what? He's definitely took off nose up. When he was coming around, he knew clearly he was either going to loop out.
Reynolds faltered a little bit on his first. We'll see what can happen on this, his last chance.
And looking at Garrett, I can tell you that his final runs are very similar to his prelim runs. And Dave, as you know, you've got to be able to bring some more to the finals.
A lot of times in the final second run, they're really looking for something. But Garrett slam packs his runs. I mean, he's more technical than people really think, and I know he's capable of putting together something solid, move up in points for sure.
And again, great flow throughout the course. Trying to squeeze as many tricks as possible. Has some trouble.
That's rare for Garrett, man, really. I mean, he looks like he's having a little tough time, but man, that kid, he usually puts together solid runs all day long, and I love it. I love watching him because he's like a little machine.
Could it be nerves, being out here with the best?
It could be. I mean, that happens, but he's he's not giving up. He's still out there ripping it up.
It looks like he's having fun. Couple of heavy metal fingers there, throwing them up.
I mean, just the fact is, look at 16 years old in a professional contest like this is amazing. That's rare in BMX. So all day long, like he said, he's in here, he's just having a good time. He's in awe.
How old were you when you did your first pro comp?
My first pro contest, I was 17 years old. So
you had a year on him.
Yeah, exactly. So that goes to show you, I mean, that young and that developed and that technical to be able to make the finals with 40 guys in prelim. It's pretty amazing, really. And like he said, he's having a great time. He's in awe. He's around, the guys he looks up to that were on his wall, on the decks, and he's out here just rubbing elbows with them. That's cool. And your body's off. You can do it. If your body's perfect and you're totally healthy, but your mind's not, it all starts with the mind. So if you can have a strong mind like Ryan does tonight, he can make it happen.
Oh! Show goes big over the box. Canina. And before he dropped into this run, in fourth place.
And Joe's capable of stepping that up for sure. He's capable of winning this contest. If he can just keep it on the bike, he's...
Well, here's that big 720. He's got to land this one. And two times today, he pulls it off.
Opposite 360s going both ways. That's huge, really. That's huge points for...
Especially to link a 720 to an opposite 360. Judge is going to notice that as well.
What do you got thing. This is crucial.
Front flip, no, double tail.
Clean, smooth, dialed. To a big flare.
Oh, right.
Joe.
Slides out, gets a little bit, is leaning too far to the right side.
A small little mistake like that can cost you, you know, a number of places.
Regardless what you do, yeah, in the first half, maybe the first 80% of the run. Leaves that indelible mark. Up to that point, that run, would you go on record, the best run we've seen?
Pretty, I mean, you know, it's hard to say really until he finishes perfect, because really what he ends.
The second run, I want to see what he's able to do with that 360 flip. If he can get through that, you can expect him to just elevate himself. You know, when you pull a trick, Dave, and it's something that's kind of hindered you in the first run, once you get through it, it just takes that, well, I guess monkey, gorilla, King Kong, whatever's on your back, you can just chuck it off and really enjoy the rest of your run for the most part.
Well, you know what, Morgan, in his case, like he said, he's out there having so much fun. He's going to go for it. I mean, you know, it's a self-goal, and that's his style of riding. I mean, somebody that knows how to fall and how to just take slams. He definitely found the best exit.
Whether it be trying to pull complete loops or doing huge gaps, Morgan Wade has taken some serious hard falls.
Yeah, it's also something you got to think about as well with the 360 flip. Not a lot of competitors still throwing that trick in competition. So Morgan doing it on a step down, insane.
You know what, Nyquist is in first right now, but they've definitely left room for a new leader. So we'll see what happens. Nobody's really put together a solid run since Ryan's went. Like
That's right. We have not seen scores in the 90s, and that is something that happens quite regularly on the Dew Tour. Here we are.
Crucial point right here.
Oh, he chooses a 720.
That's okay. That's a big trick. That's
a calculating Wade.
It's a big trick. He has it more dialed than the 360 flip. The key is, will we see that free flip perhaps at the end of his run?
You never know with Morgan. He's, you know, that guy's. I said, you know, one time I quoted Metro. He rides so full throttle. I said, man, you know, when Morgan was younger, he must, you know, his parents might have brought him to rock concerts when he was really young. He's heavy.
Well, you want to know something interesting about Morgan Wade? His mom would actually take pictures of him as he's knocked out. This is not good.
Such a great run, too.
Yeah.
Something so little like that took him.
I still think we're going to, oh no, his wheel's done.
Yeah.
I think he was going to try and just do something for the crowd. He's a crowd pleaser, but he's bent that wheel.
You know, that was pretty near the end of his run. Who knows how they're going to score it? I mean, that still was pretty solid. It's not going to be a first-place run, but let's...
You can see Stephen McCann in the top 3. There's only one other rider besides Kramer and Daniel Dares that can upset the balance, and that is Scotty Kramer, our top qualifier, who's outside of the top 3.
Well, you know, Stevie also has a lot of tricks, and he's actually won pro park competitions, but not like that.
Not going to do it.
Yeah.
Little things. A lot of little things are going on today out there.
I should clarify, not upset the balance, but to knock anyone out of the top 3 that's already there. Kramer's the only one that'll be able to do that.
Let's see what Stevie finishes with. He's definitely capable to get this run back in order.
A new one for him. He's been working on that this summer at Woodward Camp in the foam pits.
And as the judges acclimate, how vital, Dave, bringing a new trick over the box with each run. And he had the 7.
You know, that's he's got the throttle wide open right now. So
will they overlook? I don't know, but will they overlook that tiny little bobble as he flew out? I mean, it might give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, he's just rolling out on the ramp.
There's a great possibility. He did put some big stuff at risk, and he came through with it. I mean, little things are making showing, but you got to be legitimate now.
So there's a lot of pressure on Daniel Dares.
But he's capable of taking the contest win as well. So let's see if he can, you know, like his mind, get his mind stronger than his body, and you know he can come out here and rip it up. So sometimes you forget about that little injury.
The skate park in your head.
And to further the story, yet to drop in on their final runs, Ryan Nyquist and Scotty Kramer, our top qualifier. The score to beat to move into first at 89.5.
Yeah, just squeaking that tail up around. I get a little nervous when I watch that one. He's able to get those 2 tricks in that one rotation, the X-up and then the tail whip, all within that 360.
Extremely hard to get that tail up out late, too, and have confidence to spin it while you see the ground coming closer to you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It really is.
Mother Earth comes quick. And you know what? He's sticking to what he did in his first run, but it's a solid run.
He's putting together, watch. He's turning into machine mode right now, and he is that. That's
big no-handed 3.
Yeah, Dan.
Going down that flying step down. That's a big trick.
That's coming off of, you know, that's basically a yank out double whip into a 6-footer. That's
hard. And you know what? This is where he went down, but he stayed through. A no-handed flare.
This
might be the winning run, Dave. I don't know.
The narrow margin.
I wonder, you know, what were the judges? How could they give him an 88.75 for that run, Dave?
It's crazy because, you know, exactly, Ryan Nyquist, nothing to take it away from him because Ryan, you know, is capable. I mean, he does amazing stuff. I think Ryan played kind of a card, let's get through this run, I'm injured, which was a very, very smart move for Ryan. I think Daniel went back-to-back from end to end, and Daniel had a very good run. I think that it should have been probably a little closer. That's just my personal opinion. Daniel was, like I said, I thought it was a 90s, but you know what, let's see. Nyquist is going to...
Oh! And Ryan, look at this sneaky little way of getting out of that.
Right there, and that's why Ryan is who he is. He can do that.
It's a testament to the skill he has on that bike. And it's all about adaptation. You got to adapt. Sometimes you may get some surprises in your run.
And that goes to the judges as well. Sometimes they got to, you know, put themselves in a rider's position and say, can I relate to what Daniel Dares did or what Ryan's doing right now?
Yep.
I think it's great to see Ryan stepping up right now because I think he's here for the fans and he's definitely...
You know, sometimes you have to ask, you know, did Ryan see Daniel's run and think, man, I have to go out and justify this now? Sometimes the riders do that. They're like, all right, I don't want anyone to think I got gifted, so he's going to try and post a bigger score here.
But also he's trying to protect first place because he knows Scotty Cranmer is the only guy left after him. Ryan's putting together, obviously, a solid run. That was well justified right there. That's a 90s run. If that ain't enough.
Conservative with their scoring, and he is a rider who we've seen have a 94.
Exactly. It's typical for Scotty or even Ryan to be in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
And now, you know, it seems like a very conservative scoring process. You know, I don't know. I mean, obviously the door's wide open for Scotty.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Maybe they're saying to Scotty, hey, don't worry, man. You might be in the lead, but if you bring everything you've got, there is a shot for you.
You know what's really crazy, though, mentally for Scotty, to see a 90.25, I can beat that. If you see a 94, it means, this is nuts.
Exactly. Wind out of your sails.
Well, we see that front flip off the top.
That's another thing. Maybe the judges want to see it, and so they'll kind of nudge him along. It'll nudge along that progression.
Scotty's going for the
Well, he's made it.
together.
He's made it with that double tail whip down the step down. That's where he had problems in the first run.
This right here is extreme. Judges are going to appreciate that. Right now, you know, it's going to be close.
He has to stay on.
Stepping it up for sure.
And he is whittling down the time here in his run.
An insane mix of big tricks and the subtlety, like you said, just that whip in, the whip out.
And X up, slowing things down here a little bit. Maybe catching some breath, but he still needs to do a little bit, just another big trick. Flare.
Definitely a solid run. Got a little slow at one point, but let's see what the judges think in terms of he did do some stuff that was pretty, you know, double whip down, you know, over the step down. Double whip 360.